Hey guys, it's Braxton, the Fat Doc. I'm here with a friend of mine, Erica, who I actually started working with last year. You guys recall I started the campaign with Eat Less, Move More, which I think was an easier way for people to kind of wrap their head around losing weight without it being very complicated and going through a lot of hoops and trying to fix so many things in their life. And I think what Eat Less, Move More is, and you guys can read about it on my blog site, is you're basically just taking your portions and you're controlling your volume. You're doing half, eating half of what you normally eat. You take a half of it. We don't advocate throwing food away, but we do save it for another day, put it away, come back to it again when you need to, when you're hungry, and adding in 3 small meals in between the larger meals. So you're having 3 meals and 3 snacks, and you're actually halving those portions. So you take your normal portion, you're honest with yourself, you cut it in half, and you come back to it maybe the next day, or even that afternoon. You might have lunch turning into dinner. I spoke with Erica about it last year, and briefly, and we kind of put together a nice little program. And the other half of Eat Less, Move More is actually having more activity. So if you took 1,000 steps a day, you want to crank that up to double. So you want to do twice. If you did 30 minutes of cardio, you want to move up to an hour. So that's pretty much what we did, and I wanted to bring Erica on and actually just tell you guys live how things worked out for her and how it made such an impact in her life. So Erica, tell us, first of all, what kind of pushed you to actually start losing the weight? What made you want to do that?
I had 3 children, and the last 2 were back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're 13 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that when you have kids, you stop doing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to not have time. I work full time. I had the small children.
Right.
And I used to go to the gym. I stopped that because I felt guilty because they were in school or in preschool or daycare all day long.
Right.
And then I would go and put them into a gym. So, into a gym type of daycare.
And funny thing is, our kids go to the same school, and so I know there's a lot of involvement too with getting involved with the kids and the activities. So you kind of lose yourself.
You do, and you lose. And also too, I noticed that when I would cook them something, so say because at one point nobody would eat anything but chicken nuggets, I would eat chicken nuggets with them. And I wouldn't realize how much I would eat. I would eat a full meal, and then I would save my husband dinner because he came home later, and then I would eat with him. And then after they went to bed, I would have candy because I was rewarding myself for working all day and then taking care of the children. I mean, and it just kind of snuck up. And then I kind of was like, well, I have small kids, and I just I gave up. I gave up, and I quit thinking about it. I quit putting it in the front of my brain.
And I think that's the importance of the program, is it actually makes you actively think before you eat what you're going to do, and you have a plan. And weight gain is insidious. I really do believe that. People don't know. Like you said, you didn't know all those things were just adding up. So I think people do that. They'll eat something, and they'll go and they'll sample. Oh, well, there you have it. They'll have a little sample of your food, and they'll come back. And they don't know how that stuff is just adding up over time. And like you say, you ate just a couple of nuggets with the kids, or maybe you ate a lot of nuggets, didn't realize it. And then you're eating dinner again. So the volume is really something that I started tackling with a lot with people I was working with, is that, hey, why don't we start controlling your volume? Because, you stretch, your stomach is a muscle, you stretch it out. And so a part of our satiety of when we feel full is that our stomach wants to feel stretched. When it stretches, then it sends a signal to your brain, hey, that's enough. But the problem is we eat faster than we fill up. And before you know it, you've eaten a lot of food. And so sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of some interference. But, it's live, and this is where we are out in beautiful Georgia. Erica, we talked about putting eating in the forefront, but it's more of a natural plan for you. Because, like, Erica says she's tried some of the other diets. She can't actively think, I'm counting this, I'm counting that. But volume was something that was easier for you to manage because you knew your plate was too big or your portion was too big, so you started controlling that.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. I can't think about everything I'm going to eat all the time.
Right.
I can't count it. I don't even have time to read a magazine, much less journal everything I eat and put in my mouth. I just had to stop the little snacks. I mean, I really had to consciously stop it. If I was hungry, I'd drink some water. And I would even ask, I had my husband, and, I would say, does this look like a lot to you?
That's good.
I would ask somebody.
So you had an accountability partner, really.
I did. In the beginning, before I kind of knew my body and knew myself and knew what I could eat to still lose weight and what I can't eat to still lose weight, I would ask him,
But you have to be brave to do that. to commit
asked
yourself? You. Yeah, you would ask me.
I would ask you. Well, and I didn't want to talk about it. I did not tell everybody what I was doing because I didn't want people watching me. I didn't want people keeping up with what I ate. Yeah. I just quit. And then the biggest thing, the hardest thing, was we have birthday parties at work. We have snacks. I'm a nurse. Yeah. All nurses love to eat. We do. Families bring in things for Christmas. All anybody would get me is, gift cards to restaurants. Right. And I would just stop. I just had to stop. I just had to. But once I started cutting my portions down, I found that strength. Once I lost a little bit, and it did. It's taken me a year to lose over 50 pounds.
Fantastic. But that's huge.
It's huge, but it is slow.
No, but it's the right thing to do. Remember I said it's insidious. So think about this. Say you were putting on a pound a month.
Oh, yeah,
you won't see that, though. You won't see a pound on your face. You know what I mean? It'll be somewhere dispersed on your body. You do that, if you put on a pound a month, and you did that, 12 months out of the year, you put on 12 pounds. And that doesn't sound like a lot again because it's dispersed so well. Mm-hmm. But do that over 5 years.
Oh, I know.
You put on 60 pounds. And then you go and you see some people you haven't seen in 5 years. Guess what they're going to say? You put on some weight.
Oh, and then what's bad is I have the opposite. Like some people may have a low self-esteem. Right. I think I look better than I do. So I didn't even notice. I mean, I really didn't. And until I started losing it, everybody is so amazed. And I'm thinking, I didn't know I was that big.
Well, you showed me that picture that day. And you said, Braxton, I got to do a little brag and look at this. And I'm like, okay. And you showed me the picture. I had forgot you looked like that.
Yeah, because it's
seriously.
so slow. Mm-hmm. People didn't know until I lost enough weight to where I couldn't wear my scrubs. Right. And I am blessed that I can wear regular street clothes to work. Right. So I bought a few things. And when I started buying clothes that actually fit me, it was like I've become,
that's awesome.
a supermodel. And awesome. I know I'm not.
Awesome. Hey, but you have to feel good. And I think that's one of the key things about losing weight is that you really have to applaud yourself because it is one of the hardest things to do. To me, I think I don't want to say it's parallel to being on drugs, but it could be an addiction, and it's something that you probably could do more. And I know it's most of the time it's the sugar that's in the food. They talked about all these studies where, mice were more addicted, like their addiction to sugar was more powerful than that to cocaine. And I think that that's true. And you eat and it's accessible and you get in your habits and you're doing your thing and you don't realize it, how much you're just abusing yourself. But when you finally can control it, it is a huge accomplishment.
Well, and I think you go into a denial, too, in the beginning. Like with me, I mean, you eat for a reason. I mean, whether you admit it or not, you eat for a reason. I ate because I had 3 small kids, and I was stressed and a full-time job. And when they went to bed, I had ice cream. And I love a good Coke. There's nothing better to me than a regular canned Coke.
But you haven't given up your Coke either. That's another good thing about the Eat Less, Move More program is that I'm not asking you to stop eating certain things. Now, certain things I do say, hey, for cholesterol, you need to cut the fried foods out, the butter and all of that stuff. You should, just because, that attributes to your weight gain, but also affects your heart. But I do tell you, hey, you can have the things you want, but the volume needs to be half. And imagine just how quickly that changes around, where you can have a slice of pie, but you have this real thin slice of pie. So you're not killing yourself. It's like, I can't have anything. And instead of having, a whole candy bar, you eat half of the candy bar. So that, that was something you were doing as well, because you still have your Coke today.
Oh, yeah. And the other day when we were at work, now I'm not going to waste eating cake from a place that is not fabulous. I'm not going to eat a Hershey's Kiss. I'll leave that alone. And not that, no offense, Hershey's, I love it. I mean, I really do like a Kiss, but I would rather have, a Godiva chocolate. I'm not going to waste my time. It's going to be worth it. And then when I eat it, I enjoy it. And but in the exercise thing.
Yeah, talk about the other half of the Eat Less, Move More. So the Move More, tell me how you picked up activity. What did you start doing now?
Well,
because when you first started working, you told me like you have a knee pain and things like that because of the weight.
Oh,
so as you started losing weight, tell us how you got.
I was in total denial about that. It wasn't the weight. It wasn't the weight. Yes, it was. I also had back pain. I also had, I remember thinking, oh, it's the concrete underneath underneath Del Mar Gardens that I'm walking on. It's not it's not this belly. But yeah, all that went away. All that went away after I lost about 20 pounds.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But what I started doing because of the whole exercise thing, and I really didn't. I remember saying I'm not exercising. I'm just not. I've got 3 children. I'm not. Once I lost a little bit of weight, then I found the energy too. I didn't realize how much having extra weight really does make you tired. It really does. Yeah. And I had no desire to try to do anything, and I felt like I didn't have time. And I really don't have time, but this works for me, and I know some people with smaller kids, they can't, because their kids aren't old enough. But I've started taking Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And so all 3 of my children take it. We all take it together. We do belt testing. I mean, it is a way for us to exercise together. I'm not putting them in a daycare type of, situation. And if I can't do what they're doing, I'll look at the instructor and be like, But I'm doing something.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting at home.
Eat less, move more. So you're moving more than twice as much as you were when you weren't doing anything at all. And that's the bottom line.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not even that it's extensive. You're not doing it like 5 days a week. You're like 3 times a week on that
2
now?
to 3 times a week.
So,
and then when I started doing that, that's really when the weight started falling off. And I wasn't, and a lot of it is forms, but a lot of it is getting off the couch and really just not being in an environment at home where there's food around me all the time. It is actually getting out and doing stuff. You find yourself kind of, especially if you have more than 1 or 2, it's not worth it to go out. It's a pain. It's more of a struggle. You
gotta keep this one quiet. You gotta feed them and order this and then manage everything. You don't even enjoy eating. You're just like, we're eating, they're eating, and
I haven't gone out to dinner in a while unless it's maybe something that's loud.
Right.
I mean, it's not fun for me. It's not fun for me. And
so you're cooking more of your meals and you're managing it, and you've done a great job. It tells you said over the last year, how much did you lose?
Over 50 pounds.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, insidiously, you may have put on 60 over 5 years, and you lost over 50 in 1 year. And that's basically just from eating less and moving more. So if you don't think that it's something you can do, guys, that's a straight up lie. This is controllable. This is manageable. You get yourself a good exercise program, something that works for you. It could be pool initially. Maybe you're in the pool doing exercises because your knees can't take it. But once you're able to get back on the road, you can start walking. You can start doing Taekwondo, things like that. Really light and low impact exercise like Erica's doing. But the main thing is managing the amount of volume that you're putting into your body, and that you control directly. There's nobody else who has the control of that. So thanks so much for sharing with us, Erica. I mean, people really need to hear it. And I think if you're out there and you listen to the video and you don't think that you can lose weight, Erica, trust me, she is a shining example of that.
Well, and I'm still not, I'm a big girl, always will be a big girl probably. I mean, we'll see. Let's see about next year. But that's what I was telling Braxton. I'm like, I don't have a 6-pack abs, and I still, look at this lighting. Is it okay? But I mean, but I'm less than I was, and I'm happier. So.
And it's huge, and I applaud you. And just keep it up, because, I mean, what is the limit? There might not be a limit for you. I mean, if you say, like, you don't know where you'll be next year, I think that's the way you look at it. Next year, what will I be now? Because you know how to manage it. You know the thing, like you said. You know there's even some cheat and wiggle room now, because you can exercise like crazy to kind of combat some of the bad day you might have had. And that's another thing with Eat Less Move More is you can have that one cheat day where you don't do, but you have to get back on, and you have to be
and you don't beat yourself. Just eat. If you eat whatever you eat, just eat it. But just jump back on it. That's where a lot of, I think, friends and people that I've, whenever everybody wants to go on a diet all together, it just takes a day and then they're off. Just forgive yourself and move on.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. Thank you guys for stopping by the blog. Hope you enjoy. And remember, if you need to get all the information on Eat Less, Move More, you can go by my website, BraxtonCosby.com. You can do the search. Eat Less, Move More will be in there, but it's definitely somewhere on the blog. You'll find all of that information. And thank you for coming by the podcast and checking out the video. Thank you.